The other question parents ask is, adoptive parents ask is, how do I tell the child about adoption?
Correct.
When do I tell the child about
That's
adoption?
very important, because there are two set of parents I have met, or I can say like I've heard about. One set of parents, they are like we want to tell it from the very beginning, from the child comes home, and there are other set of parents who say like we want the child to be little mature and then we will disclose it.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the right thing?
Both are correct. So
Okay.
first let's start with from the time the child comes home. So the way to do that is every birthday or once a year, take the child back to the agency. Tell the child casually, all these babies and children have no mamas and papas. The concept of a child without mama and papa is put into the child's head. So every year try to make an annual trip to the agency. So the child has a concept of this child without mama papa. Next will come, then when you actually talk about the adoption, you're able to identify and say, you remember we go every year to this place where there are no children with no mamas and papas. You also came from there. Leave it at that. The child understands that I came from there. The why I came from there, how I came from there will come later. The second, as you say, is when the child is old enough to understand. That part is the actual adoption, what it means. That you were not born in my tummy, you were born in someone else's tummy, that person couldn't look after you, and we really wanted a child. Then we came to this place where the babies are looked after when they don't have mamas and papas, and we fell in love with you there, and we felt, oh, you are a little princess or you are a little angel. That is when they are able to understand it a little better. There'll be the next level when, who is this lady who left me? Why did this lady leave me? Do you know why she left me? Was I a bad baby? Is that why she left me? Did she not love me enough to look after me? Why could she not look after me? That will all come much later. And that will come after the child is thinking about this thing in a step-by-step ways. And even at that stage, you have to be very honest with your answers, because the way you answer those questions will help the child understand and decide, these are my parents and I love them the best, and I don't have any issues with the biological parent. We always advise adoptive parents not to talk about the biological mother in a negative sense, not to criticize that woman, not to say she was irresponsible, she gave you up, I don't know, she must have been a bad lady, that's why she did this. Never ever say that. Always explain as, beta, it's very hard to understand why she gave you up, but one thing I can tell you, she definitely wanted a better life for you. Now, very often, the biological parent leaves the child because she is unable to look after the child in the best of the terms. It could be being not married, a stigma for society to have an unmarried mother. It could be that there were more than one or two girl children in the family. So there are many extenuating circumstances where the biological parent has left the child. For the adoptee to understand that level of adoption information, she has to be a young adult.
Correct.
Once she's 18, then things like unmarried motherhood, concept of stigma of unmarried motherhood, more than what is the issue of having more than two girl children in India, therefore why she could have been given up, what is the issue there. So these issues they understand better when they are that mature.
Correct.
So the story grows along with the maturity of the child. The introduction to the concept can start as early as possible. When the young child goes to school, he or she sees mothers of the other children pregnant, because that is the age when the first child is born, the second child is also being planned. So they will come home and tell you that so-and-so's mama has a baby in the tummy and is getting a brother or a sister. I also want one. When are you going to get a baby in your tummy? This is your chance to say, beta, I can't have a baby in my tummy. So it's going to be very difficult to get you a brother or a sister. Child will be quiet, then we'll come back, maybe go back to school and say, but my mother says she can't have a baby in the tummy. Some other kid will say, but all babies come from tummies. So she'll come back to you and say, but all babies come from tummies. Why you can't have in your tummy? Then you say, I can't. Then she may ask you, where did I come from then? Then you say, not from my tummy, from another tummy. That's your tummy mummy or your heart mummy. There are all these phrases that are used to describe this. So this is how step by step you build the story. My advice to all couples is answer to the point. Don't get upset, don't get anxious, keep a straight face, keep a neutral tone. Children are very sensitive to pick up on all these things. Any sense of anxiety, any sense of nervousness. Be calm, be prepared that questions will come. Answer just to the point.
Right.
Depending on the age, answer to the point. Wait for the next question to come. Don't add too much information because it either could be confusing for the child, not necessary at that age, not able to understand at that age. But in your mind as parents, be very clear, I am going to tell the child and I am ready and confident to face all the questions that will come.